All right, this next one from Avenger One is one I've been waiting to watch with you guys for a while. So, Star Citizen 317 is a PvP game changer. I think we know the desync stuff is going to change PvP, but I don't PvP. So hearing it from PvPers is always the best way to hear about changes, I think, for specific subjects of the game. Yeah. So let's hear what Avenger 1 has to say about 317.
This is why you should be excited for Alpha 317. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Avenger 1, and today I'm going to talk about 317, and most specifically, what I'm really excited for in this patch, and how I think personally that this
I didn't know he was Canadian until he said about. Now I know he's Canadian.
Patch right here is going to bring Star Citizen into a whole nother level, and I think it starts with 317. If you've been following the channel, you guys know that I'm very excited and passionate about PvP.
Yeah.
And the number one thing I'm excited for in this specific patch is the fixes to desync. So if you take this fight that we're watching here, you can see that not all the time the lasers are kind of lined up with the direction of the ship. And so in CIG's words, in 317, we have put in a networking update that should reduce ship-to-ship desync. We would like to know how well this update works and if there are any observable knock-ons relative to 316. You should feel as though the facing direction and position of other player ships are more accurate and in real time. We've created feedback on Spectrum to let you know of any potential issues. So what this tells me here is they're listening. Desync's been a huge problem for Star Citizen for a long time. And in a lot of ways, especially in PvP, it really gets in the way of enjoying the kind of experience. As you can see here, that Gladius was facing relatively 60 degrees offset to me, even though on his screen he might have been facing a lot closer to center rather than what I saw.
Yeah, you can't dogfight.
The reason why I think this is going to make a big game change, guys, is, I mean, let's think about this. Tarkov was popular for a while, and then they did some updates to its networking, and the desync kind of went away for the game. Some of the glitches went away, and the game started to explode. I really do think that if these desync fixes, from what I've been talking to from pilots I know, from ETF and whatnot, if it is true that these fixes are making a huge, a huge fix to the desync, we're gonna have a way better experience when it comes to dogfighting and just overall player versus player. And so for that reason, I am very excited, and I think you should be too, because once the desync problems start to kind of go away, then combat starts to get a lot more refined and a lot more exciting. It's going to bring a lot of people into the game, and it's going to bring a lot of people into PvP, and that is why I'm losing sleep just thinking about it. Next up, we have the RSI Scorpius, or the X-Wing, for some of you guys out there who know what this looks like. And I'll be honest, I'm excited for the Scorpius.
But
I am a little bit skeptical on her effectiveness in a fight. In two ways, I think the Scorpius, like the Hurricane, is going to be
Zero. Or he wrecked Burks there.
Quite overpowered when she first comes out. I think I made a video on my predictions on the Scorpius.
Yeah, we watched that video.
And this idea that people have been coming up with, like, well, the weapons are wing mounted, so there's a good chance that your guns are going to get shot off. Well, from a player versus player's perspective, I can honestly say I don't think that's going to be a big deal, because if you have 8 forward-facing size 3 guns, I mean, the likelihood of you being able to shoot all 4 wings off in the span of time that he's going to have to take you out is going to be very minimal. With 8 forward-facing size 3s, like, it's more burst DPS than.
And this is considered a heavy fighter now too. So now that it has 2 shields, right?
Almost any other ship in the game,
shield faces,
including the Vanguard and some other ships, right? So, if you if you understand your basics and you've been watching my videos and whatnot, you know that you're going to be able to get the person, even with a lower turn rate, if you cancel their motion, if you delta merge them, if you do all these basic tactics, like, once you get those guns forward facing, it's going to be bad news bears. And also, if you're going for the kill, why would you be going for the wings? Perfect, like, even in a perfect scenario where you shoot all 4 wings off, you still have 4 forward-facing size 3s on the turret. So, I think
just kill the
ship. Think this idea that stripping the wings off the Scorpius is going to lead to a victory, I think is just I think it's kind of silly. I think people need to understand that the threat of the ship is going to be forward-facing, massive DPS, and I think how you get
it was always a heavy fighter, although it's 2 size 1s. I know, but in 317, one of the changes is it's kind of a ninja change. Heavy fighters, so they have categorized ships as like light, medium, and heavy. I believe this is correct. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Heavy fighters are now going to have, instead of a bubble shield, no matter, I think, how, size 1, size 2, size 3, there will be 2 shield faces. I think I may have been misunderstanding that, but let me know.
This thing is you range control it because it's less maneuverable, and you try to shoot in on it when it's got its turret facing you. You try to shoot in behind it. You try to,
facing.
Once its turret flips to the back, then you try to shoot off in front of it and just kind of keep the turret going from back to front, right? So, but we'll see. I think the Scorpius is going to be more maneuverable than the Vanguard or the Hurricane, and I think it's going to be an absolute monster when it comes out, which I don't think will surprise many people. But there you go. There's number 2, the exciting Scorpius in all her glory. Next up, I'm very excited for this next one. Ship-to-ship refueling. Now, they've been talking about this for a while now, but we finally get access to the first iterations of this mechanic in 317. Now, I know we're all still inside the Stanton system, and fuel, for the most part, isn't really too much of a concern. But as we go into Pyro, and as criminal factions it becomes more and more important for criminal gameplay to have more logistics and more setup time, ship-to-ship refueling is really going to tie all that stuff together. For some of you guys who've been following my stream, you'll notice that I'm usually running CrimeStat 5 almost indefinitely.
So this is a big deal.
I can only really fuel up on outposts and at Grimhex. But the idea of having someone dedicated to fly a fuel truck with our team as we go about the universe is really exciting to me, because it's going to add a whole nother level of depth, organization, and team play that I think is really important. It's going to tie a lot of things together. And as we move on into the game and Pyro comes out and we start adding more and more systems, there's going to come a time where fuel management is going to be a very, very important thing, and you got to be very careful how you spend it, how you refuel yourself.
I mean, have people, because the servers in 317 are so poorly stabilized, have people recognized or noticed any of the changes they made to, like, the smaller ships, the lack of fuel scoops, things like that? Have any of you guys been able to see any of these changes? Or
how you manage your battle group?
Not really.
So for this reason, I think the ship-to-ship refueling with all its nuances, its mechanics, having it relatively skill-based in the sense that you got to know what you're doing, otherwise you're going to be wasting fuel like we saw there, right? So it's going to be exciting. It's coming in 317. I'm excited for it because it's going to add more depth in gameplay, and I'm all about adding more depth in gameplay. Number 4, and wrapping up the things that I'm most excited for 317, guys.
I broke a boom as well, yeah.
Hull A and item and loot selling. Now, I can't really express how important this is to the game. Like, being able to sell stuff that you collect in the universe is huge. Like, it really is, and the Hull A series.
This was weird. This was a 317 is a game changer video, like, with just a very little bit about PvP. I thought he was going to dive into some, like, nitty gritties, but he's doing his kind of like, hey, I think 317 is going to be really good.
Even though Cargo Refactor is not coming out for 317, you're still going to be able to ship stuff with the ship. And it's nice to just have another hauler in the game. Right now, hauling and trading in general in Star Citizen is not in the best position it could possibly be in. But with the Hull A series coming out and CIG looking more closely at trading, the economy and just the general overall trading gameplay loop, ships like this are going to push that gameplay, and it's going to get more people involved in trading and shipping and just in the game in general. And plus, it's nice to finally see a ship that has been teased for years now. Finally we get our trading ship. So I know there's going to be a lot of really excited, really happy people out there that are finally going to get their hands on one of their favorite ships, the Hull series, right? And excuse me, with the refactor coming out, the Hull A series is going to be a very popular ship, especially for new players and experienced, I think, right? And when you're selling loot, guys, like, again, I use the Tarkov example, right? It's like, you know, Star Citizen, I think, is about to get very big very quickly. And I think these things like the ships like the Hull A and, you know, these.
I mean, dude, I hope you're right, but I know you're wrong. It will get very big very quickly, but I don't think that time is in 2022 and probably not in 2023. And stop saying selling hope. Avenger 1 is not selling anything to you. And that's the thing about YouTubers, guys. I'm tired of some of the shit you guys say in this chat and on people's comments and stuff. Nobody's selling anything. People are just sharing their ideas and thoughts and love the feedback that they get. But one of the like idiotic feedback loops that I see on Star Citizen YouTube videos is you always think we're selling. We don't work for the company. I don't get any kickback financially on any of referrals that I give or get or whatever, right? It's a weird thing. So yeah, it's just like comments like that are kind of silly to me. Yeah. So I hate seeing those things.
And being able to sell equipment and loot, man, you know, we are where Tarkov was right before Tarkov exploded.
False.
That's what I think. I could be wrong.
I think you are wrong. I think he's like super duper incredibly wrong. Because I think they're doing all the things they need to do to have that Tarkov moment. But they don't have a lot of those things done. I feel like you need a meshed environment. I feel like you need an actual economy. Yeah, he's just a bit premature, but a bit is a weird word, and it's hard to determine where that Tarkov moment may be able to happen, right? He also like doesn't mention that the real reason Tarkov blew up was because of drops. Is all these people from outside of the Twitch community came there, and then that made Tarkov hit the top of the directory, which then, boom, kind of blew up the game even more. It was like this whole crazy feedback loop that just blew the game up. I'm not sure Star Citizen is going to have that moment. I'm just not convinced that they will. But yeah. I don't know. I think Star Citizen is going to have many miniature moments. So Pyro releasing will be a miniature Tarkov moment where it's going to be, holy crap, server meshing is a thing. There's more players in the server, maybe. There are 2 star systems connected to each other. I just went through my first jump point. And then because of all that, there's going to be all this content created. YouTube videos are going to triple, quadruple, 10 times in view count. Twitch streams are going to at least double, maybe 2 to 3 times. And that is going to create that additional feedback loop, and the game is going to grow from that on its own. But I think it is going to die down from there, and there's going to be a lull again. And then something else big is going to happen. And then it's going to be a lull. I don't like the Tarkov moment, the thing that he's talking about. It went up and it did come down, but it stayed very high still. And I don't think we're there yet.
I'd like to hear your guys' opinion. Let me know in the comments. Get involved, have some fun. Tell me what you think.
But I think Avenger 1 is going to be one of the people
but overall,
who sees...
guys, that's it for today. These were my top 4 things when it comes to being excited about 317 and why I think you guys should be excited too. The desync fixes, the Scorpius, the Hull A series with item selling, and ship-to-ship refueling. All of these things are going to affect PvP combat, which you guys know I'm very passionate about, but also affect the game in general in a positive way. So let me know what you think, guys. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel and the Twitch. I hope to see you guys all out for the next video and the next stream. I was Avenger 1, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Avenger. That was awesome. Somebody asked, what do you think would be a full Tarkov moment? I don't think Star Citizen is going to have a full Tarkov moment. I'm not sure it will. I don't think it's a game that supports a like the biggest streamers. It might. Like, because you have to have that moment where like all the biggest streamers want to play the game at the same time to have that crazy loop happen as well. And then the biggest YouTubers checking it out, all that stuff, right? So it's content creators are a part of that feedback loop, not the whole thing, not at all, but I think it's gonna have small incremental ones, and then it'll grow to a point. But I don't know if it'll ever grow to be like the biggest game ever or anything. I think it's still kind of niche. I think it's still kind of special and unique, and I don't think it's a game for everybody. Yeah, so we'll have to see. Yeah, there's big streamers who play it, but it has to be like everybody interacting with it all at the same time for it to be like this big deal thing. So yeah, we'll have to see. But of course, Avenger, thank you for the video. I thought it was really good. And I thought it was going to be all about PvP, but he actually dove into everything, which was cool.